Motorcycle fans, get ready. We've got something special and rare for you today. This is awesome. But before we go any further, my name's Jack Korpela from Cycledrag. Very pleased to be here at the Throttle Stop Collection, joined with a true pro, a true aficionado, my friend Brady Inglese from Retro Speed. Brady, thanks for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thanks for having me here, Jack. My name is Brady Inglese. I own Retro Speed. Retro Speed's been around for 18 years, and we specialize in the restoration and repair of Japanese and European motorcycles.
Very cool. Well, you are the perfect sidekick for me today, because I know you know this bike well, and not many people do, guys, because take a look at it. Looks like a Z1 900 or maybe a KZ 900. No. This is the ultra rare Kawasaki Z2, made primarily for the Japanese market, because here was the problem. The Z1 900 could not be sold in Japan because you could not sell anything over 750 cc's. Enter the Z2. What's your impression of this very rare gem?
Absolutely beautiful. Incredibly rare to see in the States. They were produced in small numbers anyway, and to have it here is truly special.
It really is. It's great to see. And one thing I want to drive home, just how special, how rare this bike is, how difficult it is to get information. In drag racing, the Z1's like the small block Chevy. Everybody loves it, and there's a ton of Z1 KZ experts. I went to a lot of those people, and a lot of those people gave me the same answer. I don't know much about this bike because I've never seen one in person. We've tried to get as much information as we can. What we heard at Mecum from a lot of folks is it was servicemen who were deployed, who bought a motorcycle and had it shipped back from Japan. That's how some ended up in the States. But from what we're hearing, there's not many in the States, are there?
Oh no, absolutely not. The servicemen thing, that makes perfect sense, because you needed a reason to bring it here, because it originally didn't come here. Until recently, the past couple of years, now the collector market has seen the value of the Z2.
Yes, Brady. Now, one thing I'd like to talk about with this motorcycle too is we know there's a lot of reproduction parts out there, and they're just astounding how they can make some of these old classic parts, they can make them new again. But we know that a lot of the collectors want original. When you look at this bike, you've really got an eye for this. How original is this one right here?
Oh, it's a wonderful example. Not only do you not want to use reproduction parts if possible, but you want to restore the parts that originally came on this motorcycle. And they coated these bikes, Z1s as well, in a very unique way. Like, for example, the swing arm has a code of 506 on it. That would mean it's a 1975 production in the month of June. The brake stay has a code of 55 on it, also 1975 in the production of May. Now, where it gets a little bit more fun is the brake rotor has a 9F code. And the 9 signifies the year of 1975. It was the 49th year of the reign of the Emperor Showa in Japan. So they put that 9F in there. The F is a sequential after, but the 9 is for the 49th year of the Emperor's reign.
Well, it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is what I love about the folks here at the Throttle Stop Collection, is they believe in my philosophy: don't hide them, ride them. I'd be a little nervous to ride this bike. We saw one at Mecum. We saw the hammer drop for like $85,000. There is a huge collector market out there for these because they are so incredibly rare. And this one is a really, really fine example. One thing that I find very interesting is the competition between Kawasaki and Honda was so hot and heavy back then. If you know the history of this bike, you know that the CB750 was groundbreaking. Many will tell you Kawasaki was ready to put out a 750 at that time too, and that's when they took a step back and said, oh no, we got to one-up Honda. And that's when they came out with the Z1 900. Well, I don't know, of course this is just urban legend, this is talk at Mecum. One of the theories that one of the gentlemen had there is they thought that Honda may have had a lot of influence with the government in Japan, and that was their way to get back at Kawasaki, to keep that 750cc limit so that the Z1 900 would never make it to Japan. Who knows if any of that's true, but what we do know is Kawasaki went back to work. The engineers did some sneaky little tricks on this engine to make it feel more like the Z1 900. We know there's different pistons, I believe some different crankshaft components. Brady, what all do you know about that?
So the Z2 did differ from the Z1 in a couple of spots. The final drive gear ratio was different, which makes sense for slightly less horsepower. The carburetors were a smaller diameter, also makes perfect sense. What was brilliant Japanese engineering is they didn't just take a Z1 and bore it down to 750. They actually changed everything that needed to be changed as far as the stroke as well. And it shows their dedication to this bike. And you had touched briefly on the CB750. This bike really is incredible in the historical significance of it, in that how much better it really is than the CB750. I'm a huge CB750 fan. First motorcycle, still actively racing. This motor is so much further ahead than the CB750. No primary chains. The clutch basket is run off the crankshaft, so you don't need a separate drive on it. It was composed of so few less pieces, and was really a major step forward.
And so here's the big question, Brady. How is this bike, other than displacement, how is this bike different than a Z1?
The big differences were the carburation displacement equivalent, the final drive ratio. There was also some styling changes through the years. As the Z1 turned into the KZ900, they went away from the 4x4 exhaust, and at the time went with the more period 4x2 exhaust. Looking back, we all love these 4x4 pipes. The Z2 has always stayed with the 4x4 through the years of production.
Do you happen to know offhand what size these carburetors are?
I believe these would be 26 millimeters.
26 millimeters, okay. Very cool. And I noticed it's still got, I mean, it's got a lot of the same type of styling that we see at the Z1. I'd love to talk to somebody from Kawasaki. Unfortunately, time's passing by quickly, right? And you know, I don't want to be morbid, but you wonder how many of these people are left, because I do know some very astute folks that worked at Kawasaki, and even some of them were limited on information, but I guarantee you that there were some gung-ho engineers that had a lot of fun and were up to the challenge of making this bike what it was.
Sure. The Japanese market always had something very unique too, that we didn't touch on. They had a speed warning light. At a set speed, this small little red indicator would light up and kind of tell you to slow down a little bit. Interesting on this one, the decal on it is in Chinese as opposed to Japanese, and this bike did spend some time in Hong Kong many years ago. Probably plays to that.
Wow, very cool. Brady, we know the Z1 900 took the American market by storm. It sold very well. What do you know about how this bike sold in Japan?
I believe it sold very well. It sold better than the CB750. They say about 10% better. Now the CB750 sold very, very well. So if you look at the percentage rise, people love the Z2, and rightly so. I believe when this bike was competing against the CB750, it was better.
And you know, that's a story for a different day. We're gonna have to touch on it, just the rivalry between Kawasaki and Honda back then. I think if you look at what was going on here, this paves the way for things like the CBX, the Z1R, all these different, they all always trying to one-up each other. And I'll tell you, Kawasaki and Honda, what a battle it was in Japan with this bike and the CB.
Absolutely, it was a great battle, and we were all benefiting from it.
That's right. Competition breeds an audience, competition breeds great motorcycles.
Absolutely.
Well, it is truly special, truly a piece of history. One thing I want to remind those viewers out there too, because I did get a couple comments at Meekum that they said, oh yeah, this is the KZ750. We had one of those. Later on in the States, here comes the KZ750, awesome motorcycle, but that was not the Z2. Maybe, I don't know your thoughts on this, maybe it was inspired by the Z2.
Absolutely was. The KZ750 came to the States in a lot of different varieties in the later years, but this is the real one.
And I want to thank these guys from the Throttle Stop collection, because they're awesome and I absolutely love them. This isn't just a showpiece. We're going to fire this bike up.
Sounds great. Sounds great's the key word.
All right, we told you we got a special treat for you. I have never heard a Z2 750 come to life. So, Brady, we know, case, there's the evidence. It's cold, but we're gonna try to crank her up. So, let's have at her. Thanks so much. Ignition on, fuel on. Brady goes full choke. That's great. It's definitely a different sound from the Z1 900 too.
Yeah.
It's not a KZ 650. It's not a Z1 900. It's got its own unique sound.
Absolutely.
Love it, love it. It's not every day you get to hear one of these.
No, it's
So
quite a treat, quite a
wow.
treat.
It's special, I love it. Brady, thank you so much. Any closing thoughts, anything you would like to add on this piece of history? I mean, anytime I get to see a motorcycle this rare in person, it gives me a special feeling because we don't know exact numbers. What I was told at Mecum, they believe 30 or 40 maybe in the United States. Who knows?
It is very hard to track down those exact numbers. We might know a little bit more in the future as this market seems to be heating up.
Yes, indeed. Well, Brady, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, if you want a close look, you know what you got to do. You got to get here to the Throttle Stop Collection, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. This place is awesome, and so is this motorcycle. Another great find.